Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Tarnisha Mosash, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and strategist coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And today I wanted to start us off by first of all saying thank you to every single person who comes every single week who watches Self Love Sunday. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And thank you so much for all of you who have purchased my book, Finding Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself. I'm so grateful. And those who have purchased my journals, as well as my journal card deck. And I am super excited to announce that I have a new book coming out, Designed to Win, the Pathway to Success for Tomorrow's Empowered Professional Woman. This book is everything. Listen, if you are drifting through life, doing whatever what everyone else expects you to do, but never stop to ask yourself what you want. Have you been busy being strong that you've forgotten how to ask for support when you need it? Well, in this book, okay, we're going to do deep reflective work to help you peel back the layers of who you thought you were to to design a life that reflects your true self. I am so excited about this book because this is the one, right? This is the one that's really going to help you get to the next level of your life. If you're tired of waking up every day, being sick and tired of being tired, and working on the job every day and caring for the kids, yet feeling like you're not getting anywhere, yet feeling like you're not successful, yet feeling like you're doing all the things and accomplishing nothing, I'm telling you, this book is going to be the game changer for you. And I am like beyond excited about it. And I'm going to talk more about it later. But today I want to talk about something, because have you ever been so caught up in your own success, your own grind, your own life, that you forgot about God? Well, let me tell you, I watched Jamie Foxx's, and this is a spoiler alert, okay? For those of you who didn't watch it, I watched Jamie Foxx's Netflix special. What had happened was, right, and it was absolutely hilarious, but it also was a wake-up call for so many. And if you have not watched it, I think that you should pause this video, stop, and go watch it, because Jamie's story isn't just about fame. It's about how easy you can lose sight of God when life is good. How many of you lose sight of God when life is good? Oh, we magnify and praise His name when everything is going bad, but when things are good, we kind of forget about it. And today, I'm breaking down 3 lessons from Jamie's journey that will challenge you to reflect, reconnect, and reclaim your relationship with God. And I don't like to say before it's too late, because I feel like it's never too late. I am that person that says, I don't care when or how or why you decide to come home, or come, or to start your spiritual journey. I'm just excited that you come. And so, and I'm here to tell you that, and I've talked about this a few times on this channel when I talk about my system of success. Success without God isn't success. I'm sorry. It's a slow drift into emptiness. And a lot of times people get so far away from that foundation and what they're supposed to be connected to. And that's when so many of these tragic stories that we hear are happening, right? It's due to that. And Jamie Foxx, he had everything most of us dream of, talent, because that boy can sing, he can act, the fame, the money, and the influence. Now, I'm going to just tell you right now, what I watched them go through in terms of fame, that is not for me. Okay. And I believe money is a tool that we all need. I'm not one of those people who can come here and say, oh, money isn't everything. Well, I believe Tony Robbins when he said, if people who say that money doesn't create happiness has not given enough of it away. And so I desire to be at that level of influence, that I'm helping others design their life to win, so you can love the life that you live, and utilizing that to build the things that I want to build, to give back. So what had happened was, he's honest about, he was so caught up in the world's definition of success that he drifted away from God. And his story isn't just about highs too. It talks about um, when the applaud phase and the laughter dies down, and you realize you're spiritually empty. And the thing about it is, I know people say Jamie came from he came from a foundation of faith. I know his grandmother, raised him up and everything like that. And that's what happens with a lot of us who started off in the faith, because that was me too. And then, as life started life in, and then as I felt like the people of, and I talked about this last week, and I'm not going to go into too deep, weaponized God, and used him sort of as this source of, I'm gonna beat you down, as opposed to, in my opinion, showing you all of who God is, which he's a multifaceted God. And yes, he does correct, and yes, he does redirect, but he also loves, he also gives grace, he also holds us high, he also surrounds us, he also never forsakes us, he also never leaves us, and he makes the impossible possible. So a lot of times when you grew up in that heavy handedness of spirituality, or however they decide to weaponize it, you can fall away from it, right? And so I love that that's part of the story as well. And you don't have to be famous to experience this. Maybe you've been chasing career success. I know I have, pouring everything into family, or just living on autopilot. Somewhere along the way, you stop making time for God. And Jamie's story really reminds us, of the dangers that it's like so dangerous that drift can be. It's like, and we need to course correct. And I think that this is the time for all of us to course correct. I think that, and it's not that I always say I think, but I know that it's really time for us to get back to the foundation of, the foundation of God. Because again, if he gave you the vision, he's the one who's going to help orchestrate you. And if he brings you to it, don't ever forget him. So in this special, he also jokes about his fame, his awards, and his high life. But under the surface, to me, there's a deeper truth. And I just said it. Success without God doesn't fill the void. And sometimes we're filling voids in our life, and we don't even realize that void is we're not making time for our spirituality. We're not making time for our foundation. And Jamie's health scare was a wake-up call. And how many of us have so many, those different wake-up calls, right? Not just physically, but spiritually. Okay. It was a moment we had to realize, like, listen, all that money and fame and accolades mean nothing, if you've forgotten the one who gave it to you. Oh, let me say it again. All the money, all the accolades, all the fame, all the success, all the likes on Instagram, all the big, or the YouTube channel growth. It means nothing if you forgot the one that has given it to you. And oftentimes, sometimes I'm like, so I'll even say, like, God, why is this taking this amount of time, and why is this happening? And then I realize he's shaping me, to understand exactly what I'm talking to you about today. And so, success, because success can blind us to the fact that we still need God. Like, it's easy to think we're self-made, okay, when life is going well. But his story, as well as so many other stories that we've heard, shows us that everything can change in an instant. And only God can sustain us when it does. Everything can change in an instant, and only God can sustain us when it does. And so ask yourself right now in this video, and I want you to put it in the comments, if it's, what are you chasing right now? What are you chasing right now that might be pulling you away from God? Is it success? Is it approval from others? Is it, being in your comfort zone? I want to know. And then I want you to reevaluate your priorities right now. Is God still at the center? Or have you put him on the sideline to pursue other things? That's the question. I want you to put in the comments and be honest. And because I talked about this too, we can't heal from a place that we're not real in. Okay. It's time to get real. All right. And then, again, when I think about true success, it's not what you achieve in the world. I know it feels that way. It's staying connected to God when you do. Why? You're going to need him. Because let me tell you something about temptation, baby. Every time you start to get in a little too big, and the things start to tempt you, I mean, that's why you see, the out of control with the pushing of sex, and the out of control of the pushing of getting high, and all these pill popping and all this other stuff. It's because a lot of times they fall away from and forget about, and don't have their foundation. And I'm talking from this, from not from a place of perfection, but from a place of having to have grown, having to walk that walk. Okay. Having to have to remember Matthew 16:26. What God? Like, listen, what good would it be to gain the whole world and yet lose your soul? And I know I'm paraphrasing. And for me, it just isn't worth it, and a lot of times we forget, and maybe today is a day that you just have a reminder, and a reminder for somebody who understands the fullness of God and who he is and how he loves and how he cheers us on, and just, in the worst moments I can call on him and everything changes. And to me, also one of the most powerful moments in Jamie's special is his reflection of his health scare. Like, man, you have to watch if you didn't. It was like a moment where everything could have just ended. He doesn't say it like he says it, but doesn't say it. Like, God allowed that moment, okay, to wake him up spiritually. And sometimes God let us hit rock bottom so we can see that he's the only solid foundation. Now, I'm gonna be very clear. I don't believe that God calls our struggle. Okay, you can fight yourselves in the comments, but don't come up in here fighting in mine. I don't believe that he calls a struggle. I believe that we make those choices. Okay, we utilize our free will and we make some choices. Okay. And he will use those choices that we made to get our attention, because he's going to bring you back home. And I do believe that, he shows up and reminds us. Okay. In listen, watching him tell this story, and I'm trying not to get emotional. So if you think about why I'm looking all around like this while you're watching this video, it's because I'm trying not to get emotional, because from the time he started the special, I was bawling. Okay. Because his scare was a moment of time. It was like to reflect on his life and realize how far he drifted from his foundation. And then even in it, he said, God, why me? There's so many bad people on this earth and they're doing this and that. And he said, those people, he kind of like said it in this way of like, those people are already following someone else, right? And so he was talking about the enemy, right? In so many words, I'm paraphrasing. You have to go back and watch it. And he said, but you belong to me. Oh, listen, when you belong to God, oh, when you belong to God, you cannot compare yourself to what other people are doing. And they may be doing it a certain way, but you don't know what hell they are living in. And I don't think heaven and hell is necessarily a place that you go and die to. I think that you can live heaven and hell every single day. Hell is a prison that's in your mind. All right. So to me, I believe that's what he was saying. And then, like, what about, have you ever had a moment like that, like where a crisis made you like stop and reflect, like, hold up, maybe it was like maybe it was a breakup or a job loss or even a health scare, because I know that's happened to a lot of people. It's happened to me. In those moments, when those things are happening and you have all the likes and applause on all the people, but everybody else fades away and it's just you and God. And that's that time and reminder where you cannot do it alone, and no one else can walk you through it. Because there's a point in the story where he was like touch and go for a minute, and they didn't know whether he was going to live. And his daughter, oh my God, this was so beautiful. His daughter, she said he said she played the guitar everywhere she went. She always played the guitar, and at first they weren't going to let her into the room, and she said, I know what my daddy needs. And she came in and started playing the guitar. And let me tell you something. They said when she played with the guitar, his vitals just stabilized. Oh my God. Like, that was so beautiful to think about. Right. And sometimes as parents, because he said it without saying it, sometimes as parents, you get quite annoyed with your kids. It's like, why are you carrying that guitar everywhere? And he said he didn't know that God was in that guitar. Okay. And it was so beautiful to witness. And she actually played, and I boohooed and cried the whole time, right? And so I really want you to reflect on what's your most recent wake up call, because I know that we all have them. Sometimes we choose to ignore them, but what was it for you? What was God trying to tell you in that moment? What did he say to you? Because sometimes we say, because Jamie said it too, he was like, God, why is this happening to me? And he said, the moment I said it out my mouth, I knew why it was. Because we do that a lot of times. We like to pretend to not know why things are going a certain way or happen a certain way, because we don't give ourselves time to sit back and think. But when you think about it, oh, And so, and if you don't, here's my action step for you. Spend time in prayer this week and asking God to realign your priorities and help you to reconnect with him, but also say, you know what, God, what is this trying to show me in this season? What are you trying to show me in this season? Okay. And listen, just like any good father, he disciplines. And I do not believe, I'm gonna be very clear, I'm gonna say it again, okay, that God does these things to you. I think we make active choices. You make active choices to drink. You make active choices to do drugs. You make active choices to have sex here, there, everywhere, and throw your body all around as if them spirits ain't living up in you. And then you wonder why you're living in hell in your mind and you don't have and you can't think straight. Okay, listen, it's real. And the truth is sometimes God has to let us fall so we'll remember who's holding us up, because a lot of times we also want to look to humans, when we should be going to God. And now let me be very clear in that too. I talk about my system of success. So yes, I do have a therapist, yes, I do have a coach, and yes, I turn to God. All three, okay? It's God first, though. Let's not get this twisted. Okay, so I do believe that we are all here because we all need one another. That's so true. But we should not be the first line of defense in everything that we do, and we should always give him the glory. Okay, and that's the other thing in this. His Jamie's humor is also really like self-deprecating, but it's also revealing. Um, and so he talked about the importance of humility. Let me tell you, when you forget God, pride can take over. But in that ego, listen, I'm a double Leo. I know all about ego and pride. It's huge. And a lot of times we don't realize that that's what we've succumbed to. And today I want you to take a second and ask yourself, where is there pride in your life? And where is your ego real in your life? And I'm not saying that we don't need it in some instances. Let's not get this twisted. However, comma, and if it's taking over, just know your first step back to God is humility. Oh man. And let me be clear too. Humility is not about thinking less of yourself. Let's not get that twisted. It's about reminding yourself who's in control. It's that reminder of who's in control, because a lot of times we think we're in control. All right, that's where that pride of ego comes in. It's our way or the highway, this and that. No, 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 no. No, no, no. We have the only thing that we truly can control is ourselves. Everything outside of that, there's no control. And so we have to remind ourselves who's the one that's in control. Okay? That's what humility is. And that reminder that we're not self-made. I know a lot of times we like to say it, and when I say, the reason why I said we is because I've said it myself. I want to be very clear that I am not above and I am not different. I have walked through these fires. I've walked through these fires, and that's exactly what made me write my book, Designed to Win, because I wanted women to create a life that they love so they can start loving the life that they live, because so often we are not. We are not loving our lives. And then guess what? I know that it's not going to be always rainbows, unicorns all the time. I know that God said there is a season for all things. Okay, so I get that. And however, comma, and again, 90% of the time we should be feeling joy. And if we're not, there's something that we feel that we're missing out on, or there's something that we may be feeling like we can't do anything about. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. And this may be a time for you to take inventory, right, on where pride might be creeping into your life. And then are you relying on your own strength instead of God's? Because sometimes we're feeling the way we're doing is because we're just solely relying on us. And I know us strong friends and survivors, that's exactly the route that we always take. If I can't do it, nobody else can. And then you realize that you're trying to do it all on your own. And then when it's not working, you're upset, you're down, you're beating yourself up, and because you forgot your foundation. Okay, so try to practice daily surrender and start each day, but just by saying, and I'm listen, put it in the comments, God, I trust you. I trust you with my life today. Put it in the comments. God, I trust you with my life today. God, I trust you with my life today. Lord, lead me. Lord, guide me. Say it. Oh, I forgot to give my disclaimer. Oh, let me give my disclaimer really quickly. For those of you who don't watch me, here's my disclaimer. I'm not here to tell you who you should or should not believe in. I'm just here to tell you that there should be a God in your foundation. There must be a God in your foundation. If you want to live this thing called life, okay, with peace of mind, okay, with the joy-filled heart, that foundation is just like building a house. It must exist. And I'm not here to tell you who it is. And so I'm not pushing anything on you. If you listen to me, you can clearly hear that mine is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I will never shrink down for you, just like I don't expect you to shrink down for me. Just don't come up in here with no mess. All right. Okay. And so, this part of the, with Jamie, speak to Second Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray. Ooh, mm, and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. And that's where, you know, that's the point right there, where just he will never leave you. All you have to do is just surrender it. All you have to do is just practice that daily surrender. And don't forget to repent. Okay. I'm not here for biblical lessons like that, because, that's not necessarily my content. And I also feel like it's needed so much today, and it's needed so much right now, especially around the holidays, because people are forgetting and they're using all these things to escape their lives. And here's the thing: an escape can look like working yourself to death too. So don't always think, oh, I'm not drinking, or I'm not doing drugs, or I'm not doing this. Okay, but that just constantly wanting to get busy, always working, never have time to sit down and think, never have time for yourself because you're running from yourself. That thing, oh, I'm running for my children. I used to be that. Don't play with me today. Running for my husband, running for my friends, running. You're running away from yourself. You're running away from your foundation, and you're running away from your calling. And here's what I'm telling you today. Today is a day that all can change. And in watching that special, I know it's going to save people's lives, because it's going to help people to see, like, man, all that time I thought God really wasn't here, because I know part of his story he thought that too. And guess what? He showed up when he was in that place of not remembering for 20 days. When he was in that place, he had everything, and now he can't even wipe himself. Now he can't even walk without assistance. All that he went through, man, he was right there. And then this is what I love about him, though. Yes, it was a wake-up call for anybody who was drifting from God. His story is a reminder that success without God is empty, that hard times can be a spiritual wake-up. Ooh, and humility is the key to reconnecting with your faith. All right. And here's the biggest part of all. Here's the biggest part of all. He took that. He took that and he brought God to the mainstream. He put God on Netflix, put him on display, put him in one of the biggest platforms. And so, why am I saying this to you? If you're somebody who's trying to work to get towards something, don't you forget to bring God along the journey. And don't forget, when you get real big, put God on the biggest stage. Put him on the biggest stage. Why? Because he helped you get there. And so, yeah, man. Man, if you're caught up in yourself, now's the time to realign your priorities and get God, whoever God you serve, back into the center of your life. Okay, back into your center of your life, especially if you are worried about the next 4 years. Listen, which I don't have that worry, because again, I know who's in control. I know that I'm not worried about a government, and I'm not here to tell you that you should or shouldn't. And that's not how I roll. You do what you need to do. And I want you to understand that walking it with God can make it so much better for you. That peace of mind is everything. And so I want to know from you, like, from today, like, which of these takeaways hit home for you. Like, let me know in the comments. And I hope you do leave a comment. It really does help me to know if my content is resonating with you, or if you need something else from it. Don't be afraid to email me. Don't be afraid to go to my website, www.mosas.com. Look me up. info@mosas.com is my email. All of that's down in the bottom. But I really want to start a real conversation about staying connected to God in the midst of life chaos. And I'm ending this thing right now, and this was so pivotal for me when my son was murdered in 2010, and he was murdered on December 11th. And the reason why I'm able to proceed with the holidays and still engage. Last night my children were here, and we put up the Christmas tree together, and we ate together. And why we're still being able to do that is because God is my rock and my foundation. And who shall I fear? Who shall I be afraid? We miss our son Sahad Monroe McCoy so much, and I will speak his name in every room that I go in, and I will speak his name in all times. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I turned that tragedy, that grief, into something so powerful and so purposeful. And that's kind of how I got here talking to you. That's how I became an author of not just these two books. I have, two journals and the journal card, and his name is on everything. So I just wanted to share that with you. Whenever I come here and speak, I speak from experience, and I speak from a place of love, and I speak from a place of wanting just to see you be better, have better, do better. Just knowing that you can create your heaven right here on earth, no matter what the hellions of anybody else said. Just hold tight to God. He is good all the time, and He will see you through some of the worst moments. And I'm here to attest to that. And so I thank you so much for joining me today. I thank you so much. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe, send this to anybody you know. Let me know when you watch the special too. Let's keep growing together. And I hope you have the most amazing, amazing rest of your Sunday. Bye now.